say by round 12, Korea doesn't have a win. I would have said, oh boy, they've had a really poor tournament. Hasn't quite gone their way. And yet they're on 100 points in first place. It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. But as we go into round number 12, they are still our leaders. But as I said before, 3 teams below them, all tied, are hot on their heels.
Let's see the drops. Any early contests, any early scuffles. I think, looking at this playing path, most will be able to get to where they need to be. Teams further out towards the west might have to stretch. We did see, I guess you could look at Thailand, for example, and some of the other teams having to stretch for those vehicles, having a couple of issues with them because it's quite compact here. But beyond that, you can imagine most should be okay. I don't think we'll be seeing too many people way far out towards the western side. Most of them should have somewhat necessarily, I would say, a backup drop, but have that flexibility to adjust if required. Yeah,
and look, we touched on Canada, Thailand, Vietnam, Russia, currently in 5th position, should probably make note of that. They're only 5 points behind those 3, but it means they're 26 points behind Korea. Still with 4 games to go, they're in the mix, they're a possibility, but with each passing game, we're sort of losing some teams really along the way. Of course, that's how it generally goes on the final day.
It does, but you have to look at the ones at the start of the day who are in a very good position. The likes of, I guess you could say, Russia, one of those teams who certainly really lost out, and a bit of that edge circle comes in. Very similar to what we just witnessed. Maybe not so far into the water, you could argue, so it has a little bit more play towards the west of the others.
Well, I just want to make sure, obviously I can't see chat right now, it's not going there. It's impossible. It can't happen. For any time you want to see those islands in game, you essentially need a massive hard shift out into the ocean for that first phase. There's just not enough there. And so that won't happen. Don't expect it. Don't hope for it. Don't pray for it. What we might get, though, La Bendita, maybe even Los Leones down south.
But who does this play in the hands of? Canada. They're one of the teams. You got to look at them.
Vietnam?
I guess Vietnam, not bad either. These 2 teams probably have prime position in this, the teams that struggled. And we did put a lot of pressure on Korea, and did the circle really play to their victory, or at least their victories prior to this, with kills, with placements. And I think we had our answer from game 1 today, that they certainly are very adaptable to new circles, new situations, 1 player alive against a million others. They can do it all. But the one thing I'm looking at here is Thailand is very close by to Korea. Now, again, not too surprising. No one wants to stretch too far away, but this is 2 very close teams, very close by.
And we did see, of course, those 2 teams fight early, actually, in the last game. Thailand coming out ahead. They got those 2 kills. Sort of looking at stats, Canada currently now first place in terms of placement points, 1 extra than Korea. They just lack the kills. In fact, they lack the kills compared to the rest of the top 5 quite significantly. So that's sort of been, not a downfall per se, but just sort of why they aren't maybe higher placed than their current tie position for the 3-way tie. Chinese Taipei, they fell away. They lost that fight against Germany. Yeah, they got third-partied as well. But for them, it was always going to be, you got to win that fight, especially against the team that was in last place. No longer now, Pansy. There's a new team in last. It's Finland, by the way.
Yeah, okay. At least it wasn't my prediction this time. But it's real, all bad. Just feels EU, man. Thailand are on the move early. They've gone for an early rotation, it looks like, maybe trying to leapfrog ahead of Korea, at least in position. Again, by this point, and you've played Miramar a couple of times, these guys will know who's nearby them. They may not know their exact rotation routes, because that may not even be set in stone, but they'll definitely know, okay, wait, are they setting up on this potentially? Look at Duckman's. It looks like they might be trying to find an early fight here against Korea. I'm not 100% sure, but it could just be the case.
Obviously, we can see it on the map. It's the exact same location that they were playing at in the last game, that sort of split across the road, similar compound building. You're right, they might be setting up for Korea again, because they obviously know where Korea is going to be rotating out of from their looting location. Duckman's in a bit of a different spot, though, for the time being. Korea have got to be careful that they don't lose 1 or 2 early. It happened last game, and yet somehow still made top 2 anyway.
Now, that's the thing, right? They can do it, but do they want to keep doing that? Probably not. You'd probably want your whole team into this, at least for the last couple of circles. But I do worry when we're seeing these kind of... This is first and somewhat second place. Yes. Oh, Lockie, if you hit that. My word. But it does mean that they're at least hyper-aware of this, and whether it's, I guess, a theory-crafted plan or merely one that's falling into place is yet to be seen. It looks like Thailand, for now at least, have consolidated some of their team, but they are still in a bit of a split here. Shippy and Duckmans are somewhat close by, but the rest of the team are still further back, so you probably don't want that full-on engagement just yet.
I don't think you see the full-on engagement, and the reason why is because they're on the edge of the Western Zone. Ideally, you want to push a bit more center, get more compound. bit more zone control in the center region of this sort of zone. Yes, there's a bit of water out to the east, so technically going out west, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. You'd rather be around Canada, around Vietnam's location. They're more central. They're more likely to have a better game. And Canada as well, having La Bendita could be crucial. I mentioned it in the last game, of course. You got that high ground, and especially on Miramar, it's just open field. You can see everything. You can hit everything. The only downside is you can be hit back.
Yeah, we'll see if that does play in. This is Russia making their way from the north. They still have a little way to go. They are mostly into the circle, but they're taking their time on that. Kemba joining through, and Senya the last to come out from the northern side. Germany not far off that. Also taking somewhat of a second to do so. Team UK is there. We have Sixmo pulling up. And again, is this Argentina fight? That was a bit of mutually assured destruction before. It felt like Pome's grenade, though, later on was quite good. Now, Sixmo in a bit of trouble. The rest of his team's backing him up this time in Beautiful Death. Iroh are all just piling into this. This is going to be a very bloody battle in just a moment's time.
Silzen's got that high ground, though, advantage that he might be able to spot the rest of Turkey that are coming in from behind. Sixmo on the top of this current compound building hasn't actually spotted any member of Argentina just yet. It's actually quite slow.
Big shot.
As Miluk gets the elimination onto Summer. Great start for Canada as we head back over to Turkey and Argentina.
He's burning alive. Run, Iroh, run. But can he make it away? It looks like he's just about made it out of that, so he can try and pop up the heel, but this is far from ideal. 3 players pretty much pinned in towards this building, and you have Argentina in a very nice position. Mert really needs to try and make a play out of this one. Maybe try and support the team somehow, but you can see that utility being put down to try and clear these buildings.
Speaking of support, though, Rivox is not actually here. You can see him on the mini-map all the way up to the northwest. He's on the other side of the road and pretty far back. Yes, it might be able to help out a little bit, but Turkey are inside the building. He's not going to be able to spot much at all.
I don't mind him in that sort of position if he's trying to at least catch them if they tried to play out of that, maybe trying to hold off an angle to ensure they can't wrap on it. But now there's going to be an isolated player. That's going to be a beautiful death, and Sixmo combining, and now the push begins. Sixmo winding up to it, but you can see the pre-fire. They're trying to slow them down. The tick nade, the underhand, no, he's considering it, but he's got to let it go now on towards the stairs. But they're in the building.
Yeah. They know they've got the advantage here as well. It's 4 versus 2. As I said, Ribo's back. Sixmo gets an initial and immediate knockdown onto an Nesta. Pony was able to get a beautiful D. Mert somehow takes his own teammate down. There's 3 down for Turkey. Pomi can somehow get a 4K here. Mert holds the angle, and so does Pomi. He doesn't know he's exactly there. Mert runs up the stairs. I think that was a pre-fire. He would have heard him running.
Oh, mate, you can see Mert on a recovery mission here. He knows he's made a terrible, terrible mistake.
Oh,
and the rest of Argentina now turning up. Ribo's coming in because he knows there's a real issue. If he has utility, if he has a nade, that could be huge. Oh, no, Ribo, if you let that go, that'd be massive. It's push time, though. They're going up to try and clear. That's such a terrifying way to play this. And now Mert holds the line.
Pomi, the last one alive for Argentina. They elected not to use the nade. Pomi doesn't have any. Mert down below. He went for the flush, but now he gets a kill. That's much better from Turkey. And yet he can actually get them all revived. They could have 4 standing by. No, never mind. Vietnam, though, picked up 1 or 2 in that. That's pretty big for them.
Welcome to mutually assured destruction.
1.
Yeah, 1 pickup is all you need at this point, apparently. That can just basically wipe 2 teams. What a disaster from both sides, though. That's an absolute travesty to happen at this point. Now let's look at what we've seen so far. Canada moving very close by towards Thailand. They have Korea on the other side. Team UK not far off on Australia in the north. A big cluster of teams around Minas Generales. That is going to be a very hot area to be towards.
Team Australia, who had a great day of 1 at one point, were in the top 5, have stumbled down to the bottom of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, just haven't been able to get going at all. Hello? That's not supposed to happen, Pansy.
No, it's really not. Okay, this now is a issue. Xenox, let's talk as to why. Look at these teams and look at these rotations. Germany is in a good position, but they're about to get crashed by everybody. I'm very surprised, and I think most of the teams are. This has gone this far towards the east.
I think it should be noted as well, Phase 3 technically could go for a southeast hard shift over to the North Island. If that does happen, it does mean Phase 4 could actually finish on that island. It becomes a possibility. A very slight one, but it's there, it's available. But what this does for this current phase, it makes it basically 50% water, 50% land. It shrinks it right down. And you mentioned the teams that are inside of the zone. That's great, that's handy. But they, of course, are going to have teams coming in.
Yeah, Vietnam about to get very close by to Finland. This could be a very, very treacherous battle, and Finland have nothing to lose, which could be the dangerous real look for them, but Samti's been quelled. He may be overextended, but Korea and Canada very close by. Pio on the rotation, gotta be careful. Moody is looking like he wants to engage. He's gonna not get the tag. They get away with this. A small bit of information found, but Finland trying to make the play up here. Samti was in the middle of the road and got punished for that insolence.
Canada running a 2-2 split. Dangerous, especially when Korea are looming. When Thailand is looming. They are in a very dangerous spot right now. Levi's and Nim. Oh, that's a smoke.
Oh, it's a smoke. He's trolling us. He's doing these circles, these smokes. Come on now. Revives come in. No foul, at least for now.
The map has actually started to spread out quite a bit. There's not a lot of teams that are actually contesting each other. Impala, Vietnam, and obviously Finland are still kind of close by. They're inside of that city. Down south, you've got America and Brazil. Canada still holding that 2-2 split, though. I think they're anticipating this is going to go back out to the west. Well, back to the Ashes.
I don't like to see it, honestly. It just hurts my heart because, look, this is the problem, right? Anyone who's ever been a fan of anything from the UK, you get your hopes up. You see the knock come in, you're like, oh, it's Luke. If anyone's going to go down, this gives them the chance. But wait for the fumble. It's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. Oh, Michael's going in on this. Is he just going to go for this? Is he pushing up? Wait, Godfrey's just going to nick that from him. Miraku's there as well, but this looks somewhat of a repeat. I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, third party from Godby, and China, unfortunately, will finish off Luke 12. Australia down to 3. You did say it was a repeat last time it happened. Australia 1. Into the minivan they go. Insight and Vasily are going to vacate. Try and get closer towards Zoidmate. They're not grouped up. It's a 2-1 split for Australia. It might be a 0-1 split if they're not careful. But that's Zoidmate who tags back. Michael is low. He's knocked down. 1-for-1 trade. Zoid got Michael. And it was Bard who got Insight. But China get another one onto Australia.
No matter what the UK do, it feels like China's there just grinning. Look at these shots coming out as well. Mad 98 with a blinder. And now Australia's left in tatters. Zoidmate is going to have to get the hell out of Dodge. He knows this one's a bit of a lost cause. And again, another steal for China.
United Kingdom playing with their food. China gobbling it all down. They take all the kills there. And for the United Kingdom, look, I guess for them, fortunately, they're not in the top 5. They're not going to be battling for a prime position. But they still would have liked to get the kills onto Australia.
Just for the banter. We love a bit of the banter. Anyway, looking at this, we do have Chinese Taipei on Overwatch here between Finland and that's Vietnam just in the background. But here comes the circle. Ooh, it's still got a bit of water in it, but it is going to move it away from those islands. Thank you for the at least a little bit of fun, and then you've gone and taken it away from us. Again, feels like, you know, Team UK, you get your hopes up, and then it all goes away.
It does make this next zone, though, phase 4 predictable. Of course, the water is going to be evaporated going into phase number 4, and so is Andy. But Halaka also gets Rogi. It's a quick double
just
in the United States in the middle of the field. They're just driving by. Can he make it a third? Can he get RDNX? He hasn't quite had a fortunate time in vehicles over the last 24 hours, but he gets away this time.
Yeah, this time feels like the way to say it. The USA, though, lapping up those points in the south. But the teams who are actually on the outskirts right now, you can't avoid it. You have Russia, you have Thailand, Canada, and Korea all looking for the way forward. Rusty's there. I've got to be very careful here. You can see Milk wanting in on this Chinese Taipei, chomping at the bit. And again, Brazil needs to run away.
That's exactly what Rusty Zera does. Pushes back Brazil inside of the zone, but it's down to just Rusty Zera and RDNX. No kills for either of them. 3 nades still remaining for Rusty. Chinese Taipei starting to spread out just north of them. 4 of them starting to cover the rest of the area.
Oh,
and Zoidmate, unfortunately, has been hunted down by China. Now, he is a fragger, though. He is pretty good. He could get a 1 versus 3 if China are not careful. If they don't play this safe, they've got to respect him. But Zoid put himself in a horrible position, and Goffey doesn't respect him, annihilates him. Australia are out in 14, and Thailand might follow them.
And to Canada, of all people, if Drassel confirms that, that's a lovely pickup of points there for him. That's exactly what you want to be seeing. Break ahead from the other players and other teams in that 3-way tie. Here comes the push. Got to be careful. Korea gonna strike now. They're moving away from this. They don't want that battle. Moody's nade could be big, though. Can he find the placement that he wants from this? I'm not sure if it's going to go far enough. No, and Thailand might need to disengage here.
Duckman is prone. It's going to be Thanawat who's running away. They actually runs straight past that pickup truck. Duckman stays behind. Canada's still going to be careful. Drazzle, Moody. They are only 2. Of course, recalling back, they had that 2-2 split. That 2-2 split somehow is still in effect. Guys, you can group up. You can play together. What this means now is Korea's position. Look at that. They're now in front of both Thailand and Canada.
Very quick scouting from Korea as well. They're attentive on the first, and now they've actually got themselves a nice little area to go to, completely free of players. But Russia now playing in from the north, coming down eventually pretty hard towards Team UK, who are looking over, watching towards China. I think that's where maybe a third party came towards Zoidmate eventually, or it could have been Japan. Pressure from everywhere, but China trying to make those points up if they can. Russia desperate to claim them.
China are 38 points away from Korea. Every kill is important if they can find it. Otherwise, they will run out of games. They will run out of time. This might be their last chance. They might need a 10, 12K sort of win if they're going to be able to stay in the hunt. As we can see Korea's current position, I'm expecting southwest heartbeat onto Korea. Why not? It's been happening almost all the tournament. Oh, the opposite happens. Cast a curse indeed.
Oh my, okay, Russia's back in the game here. If they keep 4 alive in this sort of position and they keep getting those points up, it's game on. Team USA though getting engaged upon. That's the USA trying to make their way through, but it's just RDNX left alive. Can he redeem himself? He's doing everything he can. He had an absolute disaster before, but his teammates are being picked up. Zampa, oh, RDNX, was he about to go out the window? Are you kidding me? Maybe just a peek. The nade comes out. He's gonna try and buy time. He's looking for another escape here. He's looking for his wave to freedom, and he might just find a Bahawaka on the other side, up close and personal. We've seen Chinese Taipei. It was Bahawaka who went down. Finland in amongst it all. RDNX, he's fighting with everything he has to take down the USA.
He wants to redeem himself from yesterday. He might just be able to do that if he can find Zampa and finish him off. It would essentially be almost a 1 versus 3, the opposite of what happened yesterday. So we move back to Finland and Chinese Taipei, and if Finland win this fight, it might be the end of Chinese Taipei and their race for the first place finish as well.
It's gonna get a little tricky. Wait, Moody just got picked up. That is a big boy shot. That's a 400-meter shot coming out from Miraku, excuse me. Moody going down there for Canada is a big loss. That's then down to 3, and they had a good approach to this, but Korea now getting into the fight. They're getting a couple of shots towards China, towards Vietnam, Thailand on the move. PO's seen that, and PO is deadly. Uh-oh, Vietnam though, fights on every front. Leo goes down.
2 kills for Vietnam, 3 players alive. Chippy moved into the zone, but he's just south of Korea, who have got eyes on both Vietnam, Thailand, and to a degree, they can also gatekeep Canada. The 3 teams that are right below them, the 3 teams that were tied coming into this game. Russia, a doozy, Uber, all up north next to the United Kingdom, and Reels is not going to survive that one from Uber. Knockdown, needs to finish it off with this next one, falls short of the mark.
It does. Does that get stolen, though? I'm not sure if anyone can see it. You can see Maluk already moving up for Canada, getting in towards position. Russia still holding the north. China in between them and the southern pack here. Germany still in the east, holding on to that eastern road. Miraku hits the deck and tries to stay alive. But here comes Inonic. Oh, no. Inonic's already starting to kick off here. They did get themselves into a nice position, and that could be a pickup. He tried to scout the next position, and now that's going to slow the roll from Canada.
Yep, slow them right down to just 2 players remaining. So I guess, in a way, that 2-2 split that they've been playing might come to fruition here permanently if they cannot find this revive onto Maluk. They have gone in for that recovery mission. They've gone right to the scope of Enonix.
And no one's got an angle on that. That's going to be a really hard shot to hit. K-Mind has to land an absolute blinding shot. Drassel's there as well.
Michael.
It's a very thin angle, but his teammates are bleeding out in the UK. You can see Michael. Oh, no. Team UK could ruin this for Canada. The nade.
Bye-bye.
It's good. Oh, it doesn't get them. How is they still alive? The follow-up, is that any better?
No.
It goes too far.
Are you serious? The luck of the Irish might be the luck of Canada right now. They can turn around, potentially get Michael, but Miraku's got high ground and a pretty distant advantage. This time he lands it. Finally, it only took 3 times the charm. Maluk throws out the smokes. The pressure mounting onto Canada. It's 2 standing. K-Mind knocked down. But it is only his first knock, so he's not bleeding out that quickly. The smokes are up, and they kind of feel like the nades have all been used.
Michael's desperate to get in on this. He's going to be making the play. You can see him looking around the corner. He wants to find these points. A team with nothing to lose might be the most deadly at this point. Korea is chomping at the bit to get into this. They're looking for a way into getting those points to themselves as well. But for now, it looks like Michael's fallen off this, looking for a deeper angle to play with. While all this happened, RDNX did find Zampa in the end, but there we go. Michael overstepped. Russia got vision, and now he needs to fall away.
Sanya with the tag. Then what going to be finished off actually by Udu. That's more bad news for Thailand. So far this game certainly going in the hands of Korea. They're liking what they're seeing, but Canada. It's not over just yet. Still 11 teams remaining. 19 and a half minutes has gone. Drassel avoids the nade by the skin of his teeth. K-Mine and Maluk at the front line. Nade or smoke? It was a smoke, and K-Mine now knocked down by Inonix. The pressure still mounting onto Canada. They can't find a way out of here.
No, they're pinned in and they're about to be absolutely brutalized. Team UK on the corner. Miracle delivers. Bullet after bullet. Maluk's gone down. It's looking like it's all gone wrong for Canada. Drassel left, trying to desperately hold on, and he does. Somehow he stays alive, and he might even be able to find K-Mind here. But does he go for the revive? The blue's on his back. He's going to have to make his mind up.
Yeah, he got the stick. He threw the smoke very quickly. It was a second knock for K-Mind, so he was bleeding out quite rapidly. Threw the smoke, got the stick onto the revive. They will get back up as South Korea now turn their attention away towards Vietnam, towards Thailand. Shippy's going to go down. It's Levi's who gets the knock inside of the smoke. And Thailand are starting to fall into pieces here in this match 2 of day 3.
Could be a huge moment here for Vietnam. If they get this cleanup on Finland, that's a boatload of points for Finland. Again, a deadly. These guys individually, you can't underestimate. Yes, they've had a poor performance, but you don't want to go into a 1v1 against Sam T or Gemty or any of these players. Sapao has been a highlight player, but Pio there finishing off Shippy is going to be another big pickup of points against a team you desperately want to be doing that against.
This is massive for Vietnam. Thailand, Canada haven't quite been performing to what we saw from them in the previous game. They've got 2 kills, still 3 players alive, but they have to win this fight against Finland. Sapao spots Gemty, but he can't take his head off. He takes a bit of damage back. It's from Pio. Oh, he's on a mission right now. Only 1 kill. Sapao hits him back with a headshot of his own and just says, calm down, Pio. We'll fight you next.
And in all of that mess, we've seen some of the teams who are within that kind of cluster in the top 5 going down. Now Vietnam trying to hold on here. Finland does fall. It's Vietnam claiming the points. 5 kills in this game is good, but Korea are lingering in the background. A huge battle towards the top here. Japan wants in on the action, and Korea finally get eyes towards them.
I did say that Vietnam would see you next, Korea. Now they have to. Now they've got to push towards South Korea. They're coming in from behind. And obviously Korea are taking shots from the likes of Germany, the likes as well as Japan. Nade from Pio knocks Levi's though. They've got to turn their attention back over to Vietnam. It's the impending pressure. Pio with a knockdown to Sapao. Canada eliminated in 7th place as well. South Korea's Pio on 1 health. Nim going for the revive on Sapao. They need him. As Levi's is going to bleed out, they're down to 2. The spray close. So Pio, please give them a chance, give them a break. Nim, oh, he gets his head ripped off. And Vietnam are at 6. South Korea are pulling away.
They are, but Russia wants a word in this. Kemba from afar does find Pio. That's your superstar under pressure now. He does find some cover to fall back to, so there's a chance of recovery. But that's a big shot from way off in the distance. China still stands. Japan holds the middle. Germany towards the northeast. But Korea need to move forward, and they have a lot of attention looking their way.
Got a lot of work to do. Not much cover. Japan's center of the zone. Although a knockdown to depth from Udia. Russia, this is their sort of final say in all of this. They weren't part of that 3-way tie. They weren't part of the top 4. They were sitting in 5th, but not far behind. And now with this sort of performance, might find themselves in the top 3.
Korea trying to hold this lead, and there's so many coming for them, but they are looking so resilient. China in the middle of things, or at least they were. They are now out towards the west. Russia making the move up, going to make their way a little further forward here. Looking like they might find some engagements, potentially towards Germany, maybe just sharing that space in a symbiotic relationship for now. But it's Japan in the middle, holding center circle. Korea trying to salvage anything they can to move their way forward. The amount of fights they've been in, they've got to be broken and bruised by this point.
I think one thing that needs to be stated right now is the terrain that these players are fighting on. If you look at the map, it looks completely open. So many ridge lines and crevices that the players can hide behind. A couple of shacks as well in here. Russia moved forward, but look at that terrain. It's rocky, it's bumpy. They can hide behind defilades. It's not as open as it looks on the map, so that's why we're not really seeing these players get obliterated just yet. Internex, though, finds an angle. He finds Russia. If he takes them out, that's going to take them almost out of the race.
That's a 400-meter shot. He is banging out like it's easy. Now Brexco has found Uber. That's going to be a little bit of a steal, but he's not out of the game just yet. Korea wants in on these points. Yes, the knocks are good, but you want the confirmations, and that's what they're vying for.
And really for Korea, though, they want Russia out of this game. This might be the case where they're like, okay, we might not get the kill points, but if they're out of this game, that's even better for us. We're into the final 5 teams. The points, the placement points at this point are actually pretty hefty. They're pretty substantial. You don't want Russia getting 2nd and getting 6 points, or 3rd. You want them out right now. They've only got the 3 kills. And if it goes the other way, if South Korea get knocked out and somehow Russia go on and win this game, that gap shrinks further.
It does, but I'm looking at Korea's move here. They're looking like they want to move towards Japan, trying to centralize up because now they need to. Japan holds the territory, Russia towards the north, and Germany both need to work out a way forward, and China can watch that cross, but they also are not in the circle. I like DMA Fire's position. He's trying to play a little bit of leverage for Germany, but Russia and Germany now in a very bad position. Korea looking for that engagement early to try and weaken the forces that greet them.
Obviously, Korea has been ignoring Japan because they can't see each other. As Korea starts to move into this next zone, I wonder if that will change, and if Korea then have to deal with Japan and start sort of lessering the pressure onto Russia. Obviously, Germany going to keep it up. Chris, though, coming to shot. Godby's been everywhere in this game.
Yeah, Godby might just bailed out Russia in this one, considering they were fighting that fight. Already Aduzi is towards a position, but we have in the meantime everyone moving closer. Inonix is getting their Aqua 5, finding Kemba. Everyone's looking at Russia right now, and they are suffering casualties. Aqua 5! Absolute precision from this man. The steal is there. Germany make the points, but still very big plays from Korea.
Russia down to 2 players standing. It's Aduzi and Senya. They're hardly even inside of the zone. Germany continue the pressure. China continue the pressure. But South Korea at some point are going to have to push onto Japan. Japan at some point, you got to do something. The nade goes in after shooting down the door. Smart play. Uber bleeds out to Aqua 5. 5 points now for Korea. Another nade goes in towards Japan. You can hear the crowd. They're anticipating this fight with Japan.
But look at the positioning now from Germany. They've adjusted very well here. This could cause a huge problem potentially for South Korea here. That's going to limit their cross. And look at Germany's attention instantly on the Korean boys. But can they fight it back? Inonix is further ahead. He's left isolated, but he's an incredible player, a scary player. He's found position. It's stim time, is trying to keep himself alive. Says is on the other side, but he's very quiet, he's tempered. He can't play out of this. Korea move forward. Germany are so close by to seeing this, though.
Says if they don't have his information, he could be the one that stops this initial entry from Inonix. Knocked down onto Aqua 5. It's Chris. But Loki should get the revive. It should be safe. Germany starting to push towards these compounds as well. They want in on the action. And it does give a helping hand to Russia. The pressure lifting off. They're down to just 2, Aduzi and Senya. And they're not sure exactly where to go. Senya with a knockdown onto December 12th, and now going to be knocked down by Sez. But might that give away his position to South Korea?
But I don't know if Korea can capitalize on that with Germany knocking on the door. The Eastern Front is here, and they have great vision. Inonix trying to spot that one out, but he doesn't have much of a hope in hell as Chris has the angles watched. And these are 2 heavyweights. If you see Inonix and Chris going head-to-head, that's a big one. Now, Senya did get the point against China there. December 12th will go to his pocket, but Mad 98 is just weighing this out. He has nowhere else to go. He's merely going to try and hinder the others. And now ODMA Fire trying to find a deeper angle. Germany getting pulled back on! And it's Pio finding Chris. Could you think of a better battle? And here we go. Japan focuses towards the remainder of China. Germany moving closer, and Korea still standing tall.
Senya picks up the elimination, sends China out in 5th position. And Korea can't capitalize on the knockdown onto Chris. Kane going for the revive. Korea still need to continue moving up. This building that they're currently in is hardly inside of the zone. Udi knocked down by Senya. They're still looking for more points here. The Russians are not going to go down easy. They're not going to go down without a fight. They pick up another point as they eliminate Udia. It slows down Germany. Tio, though, knockdown, elimination onto Aduzi. Oh, he is just a god.
He is, but let's see if he can make it further forward. Inonix is holding this all together by the skin of his teeth. Japan are being denied any vision. Senya hits the deck, and now Korea move up. They're on the play. Look at those smokes. Says up above it, though, he's going to try and position well. Do they know this position?
Says,
have they counted for this one?
Have they counted for Says? He's the one that's behind them. You're right. One nade into that shack, and he gets all 3 members of South Korea. They don't know he's there, but he might not know their exact location either. That smoke wall was huge. I counted about 9 or 10 smokes all in. Oh, the Molotov! But he's not going to be able to get him. He's standing on top of the shelf.
Oh, he's so lucky right now. And they might actually write this off as being clear. That could be a misread. A very, very fatal one.
Through the smoke, though. You're right. That might have been the information, the misinformation for South Korea. Seeing that smoke start to bloom and come out, though, they must know that there's someone in there. Despite the fire, Senya's eliminated. Russia are out in 4th, and Pios comes to the forefront. He comes to the battlefield. Germany, Japan, and South Korea.
Wait.
Phase 9.
Says is still holding this together. PO is still getting points. Now you're seeing Shinobi trying to get some sort of tag, some sort of damage. There's Brexco finding PO. So that's Korea now under pressure from Germany, and this is big pressure. They're working out there's two teams here. This is the information play, but here comes Japan. Here comes the pressure. Aqua 5 still stands, but the question is, for how long?
That was the ace up the sleeve that Japan had. It was said he came around the back. He wasn't able to fully capitalize, probably as much as he should. Loki, he's keeping his attention focused towards Japan. The rest of Korea making sure that Loki's actually towards Germany. The rest of Korea looking at Japan.
Yeah, now Germany still hold the line. They can watch everyone in this leave them to try and battle each other.
Oh boy.
Brexco's nade.
This is it.
Oh,
One nade.
Is it in? Did it go in or is it on the roof? I think they're okay for now. They just about escaped with their lives. He doesn't know how close he just got. Now Loki is challenged with the task of holding back the German front, and he's done well. He's found one. That's a big pickup there. Depp is waiting. He knows Korea are not far. Brexco still thrown down, waiting. Here comes the play. He gets the spray on one, but he can't make any more of it. Japan still with 4, racking up the bodies. And it's all Japan.
5-kill win for Japan. It might not seem like a lot, but it is their second win of the PUBG Nations Cup. They'll be feeling confident with that. They played it so calmly. The composure that they were able to display in that situation with two teams surrounding them in Germany and South Korea. But the real story, Pansy, from this game is once again, South Korea do not get the win, but they get the points.
They get 9 kills and second place. You can't take it away from them. It seems like no matter what's thrown at them, they stand tall and they reclaim